speaking of money, actually, well, I don't even know what movie I'm segueing into. Speaking of money, let's talk about the money you could find in Seattle. And Seattle is where our next movie happens to take place, which is The Changeling from 1980.
Do you really find money in Seattle, or is this just another classic segue?
It's a combination they have. I'm sure somebody has money in Seattle. It's a pretty expensive cost of living out there. So, Changeling from 1980. It's a Canadian movie in which this middle-aged guy is pretty old for like a main character. His wife and kid dies, and he relocates from New York City to Seattle, gets this big Victorian house, and then strange happenings start to happen. And he, along with a friend of his in Seattle, attempt to figure out the mystery of this ghost, why it's haunting the house, and what is going on. It's a very well-known and well-respected ghost movie, mainly because I think it's a very good ghost movie, especially when you take into consideration the, I guess, big focus on the mystery. When a ghost movie has a really good mystery going with it, that can really, in my opinion, heighten how much you're engrossed with it. And this movie, I thought, had a fantastic mystery. Plus, it had really moving characters. I mean, George C. Scott as the main character was fantastic. The opening scene, I mean, that's a pretty harrowing opening scene. I'm not even a parent, and it's a good opening scene. But you also have Marvin Douglas, who plays this senator, who also I think gives a fantastic performance.
Yeah, this is a movie I've been wanting to see for a while, and I just blind bought it and gave it a watch. Well, gave it 2 watches, technically, because the first time I watched it, I kind of fell asleep. That's not really a major knock on the movie, I was just really tired. But anyways, yeah, I went into this, I'm pretty sure I'd seen the trailer for it recently, and I was like, ooh, that looks really good, I gotta watch this. And I've seen George C. Scott and other things, most notably Exorcist 3, which is a pretty good movie. This one just, I really wanted to enjoy it, but I just felt like the pace was just a little too slow for me, and the scares didn't quite do it for me. Like, I watched this almost twice now, and I can't even really think of much to say about it, other than that it just moved too slow, and that's not really a knock on the movie, it's just my personal tastes, I guess, just don't quite translate to how this movie played out. And that is my review.
Yeah, I will say this movie, I wouldn't necessarily go as far as to call it a slow burn, because I think there's enough mildly interesting things happening throughout the movie. I do like the bit of a conspiracy to stop these people from figuring out what happened in the house. And like I said, it's the whole mystery section that interests me the most. There's a scene, or I guess a sequence, in which George C. Scott and the woman, trying to find the woman's name, Trish Van de Veer, in which they're trying to figure out this mystery, and they like go through microfilm in the library. They go to this random house where this old wall was, like back in the 1900s. I'm okay. And it just has, I know, the sequence right there, I really like them just going through the mystery, trying to figure out exactly what was going on. And the solution to the mystery itself, I thought, was somewhat unique. I can't think off the top of my head of a movie that went this route, but I certainly did like it. And especially toward the end, when George C. Scott has a sort of like face-off with the senator, I think it's Carmichael, played by Marvin Douglas. I think it's a fantastic scene, especially because Douglas, I think, gives such a great performance there. And I don't know, it just, to me, the movie, it might take a while to get going, and it's not like a plethora of scary things happening. I mean, I guess some people might say the whole seance scene was frightening. I didn't really see it, but it was still a decent scene. And I did like him listening back to the audio tapes, hearing the ghost's voice in the background. So there's certainly some things in here that, I enjoyed. Even like the wheelchair, when it popped up, was pretty quality. Who doesn't like seeing that wheelchair chase that one woman down? That'd be like 6 years before Friday used that wheelchair to chase down the guy in Dream Warriors. So
Nothing like a good wheelchair scene.
indeed. So I don't know. I feel like this movie had something going for it. It might be the atmosphere, might be a combination of the acting, that just made it work for me. I can certainly understand, because this movie's like almost 2 hours long. I can understand some people not finding there being enough in it to keep their interest going throughout. But I think toward the end it gets pretty solid. I don't know. To me, I think it worked out fine.
Yeah. Well, I just can't help but think about how, at the beginning, how necessary it was to keep pushing that car. Like, I don't think he needed to force his wife and daughter to push it as far as they did. So imagine having to push a car all that way, and your reward is a spicy collision.
Yeah. At the same time, though, I've got nothing. I have to say, I did like that phone booth that was seemingly in the middle of nowhere.
I like how he got into it fine and suddenly can't even get out of it.
Well, I think he was probably just in pre-shock. He just saw what's going on, and
My ability to push has been taken away from me.
yes. So I will say I think it's a pretty quality opening, though, and it does give you a bit more reason to, I don't know, feel for the character. I mean, there's actually a scene in the movie that I think I forget if he's like waking up or going to sleep, but he's just in bed sobbing. And it's like, God, talk about an emotional scene. And then he keeps finding that one ball that his daughter played with. It just keeps popping up in the house, which I thought the first time it happened, it sort of bounces slowly down the stairs. It's, subtly creepy. But, like I said, I can imagine that it may not be enough for the more modern day connoisseur.
Yeah, maybe for its time, like that scene was unexpected, but as soon as he came back and there was like another noise or something, I knew exactly what was going to happen. That ball was going to come rolling back down those stairs. So
yeah, I guess when the movie, because from my understanding, this is probably one of the top 5 most popular Ghost movies, if you discount Patrick Swayze's Ghost. If you have a movie that's popular, it's definitely going to create some things that happen down the line. I will say, comparing this movie to other big haunted house type movies around the same period, like The Legend of Hell House from '73, I'll say that this movie, I think, is decent amount better. I didn't necessarily enjoy this as much as, let's say, Burnt Offerings, which came out '76, because that one had like an atmosphere that just can't be beat. But I don't know, this movie I saw has a pretty good thing going forward, and I think for that reason I'm probably going to give this movie an 8 out of 10.
yeah, well, I'm going to give it a 6 out of 10. Look, I'll definitely check this out again at some point years down the line, but for now, I don't know if it's the timing or if it's just... I don't know if there's a universe in which I'm going to ever love this movie, but we'll see. I just couldn't get into it fully because it moved quite slow. And that's not to say I don't ever enjoy slow-moving movies. There are some that I do. It's just the combination of its pace and the type of scares it had, and it's just everything in it. It just didn't get there for me.
Now the question then becomes, did you prefer this or Uninvited?
Probably Uninvited, which might be sad to say, but I mean it's hard to beat a mutant cat coming after you. But, yeah.
It's only your life, it's not mine.
Well, I also have 2 kitties here, so the movie speaks to me.
Somebody once threw a cat at me, so that's my experience with cats.
Awesome.